Let's talk about our darker matters. What we're seeing right now with COVID is the worst and best of humanity. We're seeing the shadows of all of that. We're seeing, people being beaten, killed because of their color. We're seeing people looting. We've seen leaders threatening to do shooting. We're seeing individual racism, we're seeing institutional racism, we are seeing cultural racism, we are seeing personal racism. But I want to talk about the different kinds of darkness. The worst is, the Hitlers, the Idi Amins, the Khmer Rouge, killing millions and millions of people. History is nothing but full of these evil people that have taken it upon themselves to make themselves better than the other with judgment instead of discernment, saying white are better, green are better, yellow are better, red are better. Within every culture we have this nastiness, we have this evil seed, we have this mean-spirited roadside house gone wild on steroids. So the worst of it is what we're seeing right now, and we've also seen the best. We are seeing the best of humanity. And we are seeing people who are going out of their way to ensure that they don't drive their car, that they bake bread for the neighbors, they go fishing and bring fish to the village. But we need to understand that darker matters on a deeper level, on a psychological level, on a personal level, on a relational level, that is that it's shadow. And unless I own my shadow of being racist, whether it's internal racism or unconscious bias or whatever, as a white man, I'm also been beaten and oppressed and violated by the so-called status of the white privileged bunch. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the worst of the racism now against black people. And so we need to talk about shadow. I want to talk about shadow and talk about taking my responsibility for all the stuff that goes on. But I want to put it in a context that is a little larger than just me. Because the worst is evil, the best is understanding that we're 95%, 97% dark matter. That's true. We are that solar system, that those little sparkles of light. It's mostly 97% dark. And the mystics have known for a long time we are 97% darkness as well. And now quantum physics and all sorts of fancy science has been able to bore that out, not to my understanding or even be able to explain it. But we are mostly dark matter. On a very micro level, we are nothing but darkness. If we don't be comfortable with that kind of darkness, if we're not comfortable with our own dark matter and we're becoming light chasers, always going up to the heavens and trying to do the right thing and trying to be the best and trying to live up to these 10 commandments that are in the Christian church or in the Buddhist temples or we're then pushing away our darkness, which is 97%. That's a matter. That has a weight to that. We need to embrace the dark parts of ourselves, our fears, our anxieties, our racism, our intolerances. There's a lot of shadow floating around right now, and if you and I can take responsibility for our shit and shenanigans, as we call it in Ireland, then there's a possibility it's not going to land and give a whole lot of ammunition to the other leaders in this world who are promoting looting and shooting and judgment against people of Mexican color or green color, Irish color, or people of black color. But in particular, we're talking about the black institutional, cultural, and artifacts of racism that we have inherited as white people, as colored people, as black people, as we all have these characters inside our culture. We all have these characters inside each one of us. And until we take full responsibility and start to own the fact we're not going to get able to access to that wonder that is dark, that is in the earth as well. That earth is nothing but dark matter. Everything gets born out of that. The whole of nature that we're all seeing proliferating and coming back is now as a result of us embracing that darker matter. Our psyche at nighttime, we go into psyche. She gives us those dreams within the darkness of our sleep. Day and night, they work together. They don't squabble over the timeline. They share the world through cycles. They share this spotlight of we call life. We need to come to terms with our own darkness, and it's ugly at times. We need to learn to wear our filth, as we say in Africa and Ireland. We need to wear our filth really well and stop projecting it all over. We need to own the fact that we make judgments about people instead of discerning, using the sword of discernment to say, well, those are different, and these are different, and I'm different. Wow, look at the differences in the world. No, we say, I'm better and you're worse. Not okay, people. Not okay that we keep bandying about that. That's institutionalized, that's put into cultures, into families. It's built into our internal psyche. Those are the kind of things we need to take responsibility and grow up around. And yes, Black Lives Matter. Absolutely, we have the spotlight on that. But let's learn for all the way out to into our own shadows, that we need to take responsibility for the little judgments we're making all day long. We started making distinctions between the fact that there is a difference between judgment and discernment. We need to understand that internally with ourselves, because if we're pushing down our own darkness, we're going to push it all out onto somebody of a different color, a different race, a different choice of sexual orientation, a different religion, a different spiritual path. It doesn't matter, difference. We need to build tolerance and love and compassion. We need to start on the inside. Every great teacher has ever lived has said this. We need to get on top of those tyrants inside of us and start putting out true human beings into this world that are going to end up being voted in eventually as to be a true leader, a genuine leader, based on a true human being, what it is to be a true human being, which is owning our own crap and not spilling it all over there, just blowing it like buckshot on everybody. And right now, it's again landing all over black people. Not okay, people. So not okay. That's like me talking about in my culture from Ireland, talking about the dark Irish, they're the worst. No, the dark Irish have soul. They got breadth. Yes, are there evil seeds in there? Absolutely, that's the worst of it. We've seen that. We've seen the worst in every culture. We're just going to see some more of that. But you and I need to get at the best of us. How can we give birth to, beautiful beings of wholeness and completeness if we don't honor the darkness of the womb? We're delusional about this stuff, people. We need to understand the darker matters. It's extensive, and stop pushing away our own 97% of our nature so we can grab a hold of some beautiful spiritual mandate or principle that we think is going to change the world. No, we need to own the ground, people. I understand this, and I don't understand it. I don't understand what it's like to be a black person. I am white. I don't understand what it's like to be somebody who is from Asia. I don't understand what somebody is to be brown, but I understand what it is to be white, at least some parts of it. And the more I work on the worst of me and the best of me and the shadows in me, so don't start making it black and white, people. Our black and white needs a little bit of red. We need to redden up. We need to bring the passion and the warmth and the love up and start to own our crap. So I know I'm already teaching to preaching to the converted here, but dark matters. Darker matters. It's deep. This is a doorway. Stopping at the door and putting all this fear-mongering out there. Darkness is dark matters is a doorway to our deeper nature. If we don't get into this now, we're going to end up creating a whole pile of the same old bullshit and wonder, well, what happened? After watching Spike Lee's movie last night, and it was done in 1989. It's no different today than it is today in so many ways. In so many other ways, perhaps it's different. But we got a lot of work to do. You can't change institutional racism, cultural racism, and family racism, and racism in the neighborhood, if you aren't going to do your own work. So get into the darker matters, people. Let's do this together. We can make a difference. And let's keep the spotlight on what's going on right now with Black people, because that's an invitation for every culture, for people of difference, for people of different sexual orientation, to start to have a bit of tolerance and acknowledgement and love and compassion. So that's my rant. Love you guys.